Welcome to Wisdom Within with Tina and Tanya. Today we are going to be sharing with you our perspective on movement being nutrition for our spirit. So make sure you stay through the end. We're going to be talking about different practices we use, even some human design elements in here as well. So stay tuned. But before we get started, Tina, will you help us set the space?
Yeah, I got some Palo Santo this morning. I felt like we need some positive energy
Yeah,
coming in. The thing with
definitely.
so sage is a good clearing. Palo Santo is also a good clearing, but it's like um it brings in sage clears everything. Palo Santo actually brings in some of that good energy. So let's go ahead and just take a deep breath in, get ourselves centered for just a minute. Allow yourself to feel your whole body in the seat. Allow yourself to just be here now. Okay. Yeah, that was a little quicker than normal, but
I love it. I love how the more we practice that, though, the quicker we can drop
we
in.
can just drop in. Yeah, that's it. As soon as I close my eyes, I'm like, ah, okay,
Mhm.
I felt
Yeah.
that.
I feel that too. And I've noticed when I first started this years ago, it took me longer to drop in. And then I was actually working with a coach at the time, and I worked with her for several years. And I remember one time she was like, "Do you notice how fast, like before she's even completed that practice, I was already there?" And I was like,
Yeah,
"Oh yeah." So our
yeah,
bodies are definitely like, "Oh, I know what we're doing."
right.
So speaking of our bodies, I love this topic about movement being nutrition for our spirit. And I love it right now because as we're recording this, it is November. It is starting to get cold outside. Before we know it, we will be in the time of sleep and rest and inward hibernation. But I think it's important to continue the movement, even if it's not outside, if we can do things inside. But really, like, first of all, I think it's important to bring out the knowledge and wisdom that we have in our bodies. So, what are your thoughts on some of that?
So as far as movement goes, and I was actually thinking about this morning as I was on my walk, freezing my butt off. I I know that it is the number one best thing that I can do for my mental health. And I tend to this time of the year, I tend to um not I start slowing down. I start, staying inside. I start not moving my body. I won't even do yoga. I won't do anything. It's like this is my time to hibernate, and it affects my mental health, and I end up being usually end up with depression or whatever during the winter months. And so this year I have really been putting that emphasis on that and knowing and being really conscious of how I feel, because I know that if I go on my morning walk, and it has to be a morning walk. It's not like I can do it. I mean, yeah, it's beneficial any time of the day, but that morning walk is the one because I get that sunlight. For me, I get the morning sun on my eyes. I get the just that shift, I guess, for helping my body to start waking up, moving, just feeling, I'm starting to feel all the things I'm hearing. I'm out in nature and whatever. And so it's been really helpful for me to be conscious of, what it does for me. So it's not only for me, it not only helps with my mental health, and not only helps with, physically, but it helps spiritually too. As a healer, I feel like we need to really be conscious of our energy um, in those ways. So, with movement, it helps to kind of build up the energy and start. And so then we have that extra energy to give out to others, because we tend to, as healers, we're giving. Healers, women, that's our life, right? We're constantly giving to everybody else, and we don't give to ourselves. And this is the one gift that I'm giving to myself, is that movement. And I don't know if I've even answered any of your question that you said.
You absolutely have. Yes. And I love what you were just saying with the mind, body, spirit, because so many times we compartmentalize those things and we think that because we're working on our mindset, maybe we're focusing on positivity or gratitude. And then maybe this time we're working on nutrition and focusing on our body, or maybe we're deep in spiritual practices, but often forget that those blend together,
Mhm.
that we might be focusing on one thing in the moment, but it's impacting all of the above. And if we're only focusing on like spiritual development and we're not moving our body, then that body, we're going to be out of balance. And that is to me what balance of life is being able to balance all of them. And movement is one of those ways.
Right. I totally agree. And when we look at the like the health industry, right? They tell you you have to move, you have to, yes, there is so many benefits for movement, and there's so many benefits for eating right. There's so many benefits for, all these things, but it is all interconnected. And when we can look at it that way, I feel like it helps us it brings a whole new perspective on it. Because for me, like I said, if I'm able to move my body every morning and, just go and for me, it's a walk. For anybody else, for you, I know you said you're doing yoga in the mornings. But it has to be what lights you up, what brings you joy. What is that one thing that you love to do every morning, as far as movement goes? And then do it. Dance. I mean, dance is like the one of the best things that you could do, because it's like you're releasing all of that stagnant energy, right? And that's what movement does, is it helps to release all that stagnant energy, and it helps to um basically help you to be a clear channel as you're going. If you are an energy worker, if you are, working with others, helps you to be that clear channel that you need to be to work with others.
Mm-hmm. And I love what you were talking about stuck energy because I have two thoughts with that. And we got to go into human design with this. But I'm over here like, oh, so this idea of stuck and stagnant energy, it's very metaphysical, basically. It's very in the healing world, in the energetic type world, where we feel like there's an energy, there's a blockage, there's something that's preventing us from achieving whatever it is that we want to do. Can be mindset, can be energy. I have personally felt stuck, stagnant energy. So I know what that feels like, and it's a heaviness, it's stuck. There's
Mhm.
something there that's preventing me. I feel it. So when we think of so often we forget that movement can help with that. And not only does movement help us with maybe definitely our lymphatic
Mhm.
system, it can help us with our physical energy, but it also can really help us with the energetics energy. And they're not separate in this situation. So oftentimes when I recognize that I have some energy that's stuck, I'm thinking I need an Epsom salt bath, I need an energy session, and those can be helpful, but also getting up, standing up, moving our body, like what you're saying, can really help us release that energetic block as well. And it
Mhm.
can tie in both energetically and physical energy. They're one and the same.
Mhm. Yeah, and just like shaking your whole body, that really helps to clear. I know when I do my drum circles, that's one of the things. Drumming is a real good something to help clear. But because a lot of times we'll sit and drum, or we'll stand and drum, and we're drumming in one spot, one area, and you just start to feel that energy just kind of combine and just kind of, build up right in that center there. And then we have to move. We have to, move. And that right there is just like a a really tangible example of how the energy builds up. And it'll build up like that to where we're, it's like, oh, we got we got to move because we're feeling all that heaviness, all that energy. And as soon as we start moving, it starts to release and clear out. And that's exactly what it does for me when I go for my walks. I go, I start off and I know I've messaged you, and I messaged you and Allison the other day, and I was grumbling because I was like, it was freaking cold, and and I knew I had to be out there, and I'm like, I'm gonna but on the way back, I only do 30 minutes. But on my way back, I'm walking up the hill, and I'm like, oh, those trees are so pretty. They look so pretty with that snow on them. And I mean, it's like it takes me from, you know, grumbling because it's so freaking cold to uh it's a beautiful day outside. And that's just that switch, and it's that quick for my well-being, my sense of well-being, and my mental health. It just switches it so fast for me. And I had never really even thought about it until that day that we were talking, because we were messaging back and forth, and I was like, oh, it's, here I am. Now it's like, and that's how quick it can shift when we are um consciously moving our bodies.
Hmm. Allowing our bodies to move past the grumble
Yes.
and then watching it shift. That was
Yeah.
fun because I was hearing that transformation take place that morning.
Yeah.
And it was fun to just kind of watch that shift for
Yeah.
sure. I think too, it's important, and I do want to bring in human design because this is one key area where you and I are very different
Hmm.
in movement and exercise. So Tina's a generator, whether you're a manifesting generator or a generator, this applies to you,
Hmm.
where especially if you feel stuck in your life, if you're struggling to find that joy, that you need to move and move that stuck energy and just watch how things can open up for you. Ideas, situations, opportunities to respond, just really those things will open up. Also, as a generator in human design, it's important that you deplete that battery by the end of the day to go to bed. Like you want to go to bed exhausted, not burned out, but just satisfied with your day. Like I have used my energy today and it feels so good and it's complete and I'm going to bed. Um, that's a very and you have that ability to be consistent, to show up each day, to do the thing, um, higher intensity, lower intensity, whatever it is, but just
Hmm.
making sure that you're really utilizing physical energy and movement. I'm a projector. I don't have that defined sacral center that battery is always full. In fact, it's not in my best interest to exhaust myself.
Hmm.
I don't have that battery. So I I do mine very differently. My movement will look very differently. And I really have to be in tune with what it is that my body needs that day. And sometimes it needs a little high intensity. Sometimes it needs some weightlifting. Sometimes it needs yoga. But you're not going to catch me at the gym for an hour or two, period. It's not happening. And it has nothing to do with being at the gym. That's a whole different topic, but it's that. But for me to go and force myself to do that for that long isn't going to be helpful for me. So mine is I do need to still move my body and I need to move it daily, but it might like I might be tuning into what is it that I need. So for me, you mentioned dance.
Hmm.
I grew up dancing. I absolutely love, love, love dancing. Dancing is a way for me to actually also have an emotional release. So when I find the perfect song, the perfect movement, the lyrics, the way those blend together, it is just such a beautiful experience to me that I often will find I will just cry. And so that can be very helpful for me as well, mind, body, spirit, where it's not just about moving my body and letting out that energy. It can help me release those emotions which I know it does for a lot of people as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Um, and there might be a day when I have extra energy and maybe I do something like that. But it's so important if you're a projector or even a manifester and you don't have that sacral center to notice when you're complete, when I'm done, that feels like enough. Um, and just really honoring your body in that way, because I have been in the past before I knew about human design where I would have absolutely just exhausted myself, and my days were a lot more challenging. I didn't, I burned out in other areas of my life and I didn't connect the two. So not to discourage projectors or manifestors from moving, but just recognize you've got to listen to your own rhythm and don't try to keep up with a generator. Don't try to do what they're doing. Um,
Right.
but absolutely standing up, moving, yoga, whatever those things might be,
Yeah.
very, very different in the way that we do things, but still very important for both of us.
Right. Yeah, definitely. And like as I know when I used to run, that was the one thing that helped me to release a lot of it was a meditation.
Mm-hmm.
And it still is when I'm walking. It's a meditation, especially when I'm walking outside. It's like I'm able to connect, listen to the bird, be in the present, be right there, and I'm not I don't listen to anything on my on my phone. I have my phone in my pocket and I always will take a picture or two, or sometimes it's so pretty or something, I'll take pictures, but um for the most part that's when I'm present. I'm just there, hearing the birds, listening to the river, listening to the trees, or whatever. And so it is a meditation also. And it just, like I said, for me, it just helps with my mental health. It's like this is the one thing. And it kind of sucks because it's cold outside right now.
I know that's why I'm like, sorry, you're on your own. I'm not walking with you now.
Yeah, right.
I kind of ditched you. Sorry.
Yeah, you ditched me, you left me. But
But
and so now you get to hear me grumble because it's cold. But um it's the one thing that really helps my mental health, helps my sense of well-being. And so
Mhm.
it's something that I got to do.
Yep. And I love tying it into, especially looking at it being nutrition for our spirit.
Hmm.
So, as you know, I I have really embraced this word sacred more than ever in my life. In fact, it used to be a dirty word, like thou shalt not speak it in my presence. Um, but now I have a whole new look of what sacred means to me, and it's very much like it's a feeling. And it is when something that I do becomes very special to me. And that's what I love about this idea with movement is nutrition for our spirit, because when we can take it from even at like I'm doing this for my body. Yes, of course. I'm doing this for my mental health. Yes, of course. But when we can get it to a spot where it becomes sacred to us, that is when we crave that feeling almost,
Mhm.
where we're not, so often it's I'm doing it for my body so that I fit in my jeans better. Okay, that works until you fit in your jeans better. And then it's like, well, what's the point now?
Mhm.
Or I'm doing this for my mental health. Okay. And then we get out of the seasonal time, things start to look up, or, whichever way, it's like we kind of are like, okay, that's complete. But when it can move to a sacred type feeling where we really feel the nourishment that it brings to our spirit and our soul, that's when it becomes so much more easy to keep that practice up, because we love that connection. We love that sacred vibe, and it can be a high intensity or it can be a low intensity. And some of what I heard with you saying is very much that nature, like being out is what brings in that sacredness for you, being
Mhm.
outside.
Yeah.
Um, I noticed for myself, even this morning as I was doing yoga practice, the breathing and just listening to the breathing was making that feel very sacred to me. It just brought it home in a little different way. So I think whatever it is that people are searching for, like find a way to create that sacredness in there so that you're nourishing your soul as well as your body at the same time.
Hmm. I totally agree with that. And I, I was kind of on that same vibe this morning when I went for my walk because I was thinking about um how this is. It was colder than shit out there. I mean, it was cold this morning, and I was like, I had waited until um the sun, because where I live, the sun doesn't come completely over the mountain until around 8 o'clock, I guess. And then I don't see it because where I walk, I don't see it until I'm on my way back. And so it's colder as I'm going out, you know. And I mean, it's 20 degrees, so it's not, you know, horribly cold, but it's cold. Um, but as I was walking, I was thinking about how um I know this is the one thing that I need to do for myself because, um, and like I said earlier, you know, as a healer, as a person who is always giving to others, this is the one thing that I'm giving back to myself. And it's not just for that physical, you know, it's not the physical for me, it's more of that spiritual. It's because I need that energy. It's because it clears out the energy that has been stuck. Because I last week I didn't hardly walk. I didn't go for my walks. And I noticed this morning how much that was clearing out all of that energy that was stuck and not, you know, then I was feeling kind of like agitated and just kind of irritated, and not only just because it was cold. When I got up this morning, I was feeling that agitation and knew that I needed to go outside, spend some time, you know, just moving. And it it is a sacred, and I love that you brought that up, you know, with it being sacred, because it does feel like it has turned into that sacred practice. And it's not just because I need to go, it's not just trying to, you know, for me, I'm struggling to lose weight. All the things, but that walk is the one thing that is helping me spiritually, mentally, and even physically. I mean, I can probably outwalk a lot of people right now, even as heavy as I am.
Well, and I love what you were just saying because, it's even recognizing how much more aware you are of your physical body because we can exercise, we can walk, we can do yoga, we can do whatever from a mindless place,
Hmm.
right? We can do it from where we're taking our stress with us to the gym or to the treadmill or to the outside. We can bring all the crap in our head all day long if we want to, and we can just let that sit and spin. But when we give ourselves that opportunity to really be mindful of the outdoors, the weather, whatever it is, really tuning inward. And that was a lot of what I heard you talking about as you were talking about the way you felt agitated, all those different sensations. Talk about a whole new level of awareness within your body, which is where our spirituality is created, right? Like that is where when we tune inward to our bodies, that's where the information and the answers and the intuition and all the good things live. And
Right.
so this is one more way for us to tune in. In fact, in my ignition program, this is where we start is in your physical body, tuning into that and really starting to reconnect with ourselves. And so this is very much part of why. And I just love hearing that. It's like being able to watch that happen in real time.
Yeah. And that's what these videos are about, right? Is that wisdom within, is tuning into that wisdom within. And our bodies hold so much wisdom. And when we can listen in a way that when we can be open, and that's the thing is, we know that our bodies have this wisdom, but we tend to be up here, right? And we don't listen. We tend
Mhm.
to kind of just be like, whatever, and we go on about our life and not tuning in. And when we can, it brings it all to a deeper level. And that's
Mhm.
just the movement. It's like any type of movement that you do, it doesn't have to be the walks outside. It can be if you want to do a walk on a treadmill, if you want to do a video, weightlifting, if you want to do yoga, tai chi, whatever, all of these things are a way of helping you to start tuning into your body and understanding and feeling what is going on in your body. If you can do it from that perspective, that's where you bring in that wisdom with your body. It brings in that deeper level of understanding yourself and of bringing out your spirituality, right?
Mhm. Let's chat briefly about, because I know that there are listeners out there who have had so little trust with their body for however long, probably since birth, right? Or have so become so tuned out that when they have those physical sensations, it doesn't feel safe. I also believe that the movement can help heal that. That is my belief. Um, have you had experience with that, or do you have thoughts on that at all?
I I have been that person who, um, being a sexual abuse survivor, you tend to not want to feel your body, right? And so many, many, many years, I just, never thought about my body, never felt it, never was there. It was like, that's it. I gained weight to protect myself, whatever, know. um, but as I've gotten older and as I'm healing, I'm still healing from all that, from that trauma, and we all, and, I should, trauma survivors, whatever, we do tend to kind of just, want to disassociate from the body, right? But with movement, I do see how movement helps me to connect at a deeper level with my body and to, you know, find that safeness within myself that was never there before.
Mm,
And this is just through um, being able to connect and move my body and find ways. And it's only, I mean, I can tell you it's only been probably 10 years maybe that I've started being able to start connecting a little bit deeper with my body, and only a few years that I've been able to really allow myself to move in ways that I um, feel safe, that help me feel safe. So,
thank you for sharing that. I think that's so important, especially because we know that so many people have been affected by sexual abuse, by um, emotional abuse, and even traumas like medical concerns or physical accident type trauma. I mean, there's so many ways that our body comes into contact with trauma, right?
mhm,
And
right.
so I love that you shared that because I think it just helps people understand that we can still get safety in our bodies, even if we've had a variety or a type of trauma that's actually impacted our body.
Mhm,
Because I think people kind of forget that is out there, that hope is on the horizon, that you can
right.
find that safety inside your physical body, even if for however long it has not felt safe. Um,
Mhm.
do you have any specific practices or anything that you did that kind of helped bridge that gap a little bit?
Specific practices, I guess it probably was more along the line of just not, I shouldn't say just, but meditation, learning to go within, learning to trust myself more, and of course, I've gone through the counseling and whatever and all that too. But um, the running was really helpful when I used to run, and just moving my body. The walking is like that repetitive. I think for me, it's that repetition, the repetitive, just kind of, you know, whatever I'm doing, if it's a jog, if it's a walk, if it's whatever, it's that moving like that, or like with the drumming, the same thing. So I can't think of any real specific practices, but recently, or I guess the past few years, it's been more along the lines of walking, drumming, um, leading drum circles.
Uh-huh.
Stepping into my leadership, and yeah, just kind of allowing myself to
Mhm.
um connect with myself in a different way. So,
I I think that one of the things that's been very impactful for me, which is no surprise, it's words, right?
mhm.
I'm a wordy. I'm
Yeah.
not a foodie, I'm a wordy. But really being able to talk to my body through things. So, um, and asking questions. If this feels uncomfortable, does it hurt? Like, is there physical pain, or is it that my muscles have started to heat up? And then even things of reminding myself that my body knows what to do. So, I remember years ago I had done a really intense exercise, and it was like my muscles, my quads on my, upper, my thighs basically
Mhm.
had this sensation, like I could feel this is what it was,
Mhm.
what I'm doing with my hands. Like it's just like I could just feel this going on in my muscles. And I just was telling myself, this is what your body does. Trust that your body knows how to handle what just happened. You're not hurt, you're not in pain. This is an interesting sensation, but it really helped me to learn to trust my body, that my body's doing exactly what it needs to do. And I actually imagined and pictured it like zapping fat cells. So I kind of made it like a Pac-Man type game, where it's in there doing its thing. But I really had to kind of teach myself that this is safe. These sensations are normal. These are safe. My body's doing exactly what it needs to do. And that also helped me create a safety within my body.
Mhm. Yeah,
Um,
I agree. I agree. I have noticed that too in myself, is that I have to, like you said, with the pain or with whatever, and understanding that, because I my knee went out on me, what, last year? Was
about
it
a year
last?
ago.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, all last summer I struggled with walking because my knee was hurting, and I had to, slow down and had to listen, and I couldn't even, there was a part of, there was a couple of weeks I wasn't even able to walk. And realizing that there was some trauma there that needed to be worked through. And this is what it, you know, this was where it was. This is what, my body was saying, okay, Tina, it's time to shut down, and it's time for you to listen. It's time for you to pay attention and do the things that need to be done to heal this. And now I can walk. My knee, I every once so often I'll get a twinge here and there, and I'm kind of like, but for the most part, they're both knees are feeling pretty darn good. And so it's just taken that allowing yourself to. I lost you. Oh, there we
I
are.
lost you
I
too for a
lost you
minute.
for
I
a
don't know what
sec.
happened. Something happened, but I'm back. We're back. Okay. We might have to cut that little clip out or something, but here we go.
Yeah. But yeah, so, just listening to your body, and understanding that sometimes it's going to scream at you and tell you, and listen, don't ignore, you know. So I
Yep.
had it. That was one of the biggest lessons of last year.
Well, and I love that you brought that up. I don't, I mean, that there's that part of me that really wants to dive into the trauma. And I'm like, no, that's
Yep.
a whole other episode. Don't go there.
Right.
Um, but when everything that I do is about deconditioning, right? That's part of what human design is. It's part of who I am to the core. But what the culture tells us to do is push through the pain, right? It tells us
Mhm.
to keep driving, push harder. And I understand that to a certain degree, but I also think that that is where our own wisdom comes in, as to be able to be like, no,
Mhm.
my body, like this is pain, and we should never push through physical pain. That is our body saying stop. That is the signal.
Mhm.
Discomfort, maybe push through some discomfort if you're wanting to continue or go to the next
Yeah,
level. Very, very different from pain. And so those are things that I think are important too. And what you said with listening to your body and just really, that's what we do, right? It's wisdom
yeah,
within. That's part of it, listening to our bodies.
exactly. That's as you were saying that, I was thinking about when I used to run, I had a hip issue and I ignored. And I would run and I'd be in pain and I lived with the pain for a long time. And now I know it was a emotional, there's some emotional aspect to that. And I could have dealt with it a lot different, but that I didn't. And so now I'm learning. What's it? It's all a learning thing. We
Yep.
we learn,
We learn as we
but
go.
yeah.
So, anything else that you have thoughts regarding movement and nutrition for our spirit and soul? Anything that you feel we missed?
Um, no, I think I'm complete with that. I just feel like it's such a um powerful thing for us as, uh, you know, as humans, I guess. I want to keep saying healers, but as humans, it's so powerful, to move our bodies and to um allow that energy to move through us in that way. So,
Mhm. I agree. And I feel complete with it too. I do want to go. I'm like, oh, everything in me is wanting to deep dive on the trauma stuff, but I'm like, no,
nope.
no.
Let's
So
not do
I
it.
know
Not today.
that'll be a whole nother episode. That'll be a whole nother hour or whatever. So yeah. So I
Right.
do. I feel complete, and I feel like we've kind of explored how beautiful this practice is and how it can be sacred. And it is truly it can change your entire life just by one practice too.
Yes. I agree. Yeah, totally. And
Awesome.
it has changed mine for sure. So,
Mhm.
yep.
Mine too. All right. Would you help us put this to a closing the circle or whatever we will call this
Yeah. Go
completeness?
ahead. Go ahead and take a deep breath in. Close your eyes. Allow yourself to come back in your body, settling in, grounding into what we've talked about today. And yeah, we are complete.
Awesome. Thank you. So for those of you, we would love to be able to connect with you online. Um, Down in the description below, we have all of our social media links. If you check us out, we're doing live Q&As on Mondays. So if you have questions on this or wish that we would have expanded deeper in a certain area, you can join that Q&A and ask your question live, and we will cover those live. So check information down below. And as always, if you would like to go deeper as well on any of these topics, we have our toolkit in the description below. There's a link for that as well. So please like and comment and share and all the good things, and we will see you again soon.
Yep. See you.